Hey everyone, how are we all diddling? I am Pommy in Oz, and I am joined as always on Thursday teams by the great man himself, Mr. Leckdog. How are you doing, Leckdog?
I'm all right, mate. I'm excited. It's a little bit sad in the Bevick household. My granddad passed away this week. He was a blues man for 95 years, so it wasn't unexpected. But shout out to him.
Mate, rest in peace, and we're sending our love as not just a Blue Abroad community, but as a Carlton community. We'll gather around you, Leckdog, and hopefully the boys can send your granddad off in the best way possible.
Yeah, that or they'll lose by the amount of years that he was alive for, which it's 50-50 at this stage, I think, Bobby.
Mate, yeah, I mean, it's got Lisa Sparks in a factory written all over it, hasn't it? But yeah, I mean, obviously, trying to be serious, like Doug's lost a loved one, and Pom's dropping gags. I apologise. Obviously, chat, like Doug. Going into this game, there's going to be at least a minimum of 5 changes. What are we thinking before we see the teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, we spoke about it on Tuesday on Blue Abroad. It's kind of forced chaos, isn't it? Because we're going to have to bring in guys who, well, there'll be a couple of guys who we probably haven't seen at senior level for a little while. So, I mean, it makes... there's 2 ways to look at it. Either it makes Melbourne's job really easy because we're bringing in reserve level players, or it makes their job a bit harder because they haven't prepared for the guys that we're going to see tonight. And I am excited to see who comes in. I'm wondering if they go old tried and true, bring in your Plowmans and your Newmans, Plowmans and your O'Briens, or if they go with a bit of spice, maybe a Jackson Binns, maybe someone like that. What do you think's going to happen?
I think the amazing Elise nails it. I reckon it's O'Brien, Chincotta, Young, Jesus, and they'll bring probably Fisher in as well as the 5th. And, you know, why do it? Big shout out to Queen of Chat, Carl, $7.99. Much love, my darling. I can't see them going. Like, I know people are saying bring Dow in, but like honestly, I can't see it. Well, as soon as Chesney got off, it's not happening, is it? Thank you very much, Josh, as well. I was on the Weekend Grill. Go and check that out. Big Carlton fan. Adrian Dyer runs that podcast. I was the replacement for Paolo, so I'm like Paolo, better sense of humor, more hair. So enjoy it. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think they will reinvent the wheel. As much as I would love to say that they're going to totally flip the switch, I reckon whatever you think the changes are, there will be.
Yes. I think we'll see Chincotta. I think we'll see Lob. I think we'll see Jack Silvani. I think we'll see Zach Fisher, and I think Ed Kerno will probably hold his spot. I think that we probably know the changes. Let's talk about who we know. Well, we know Adam Cherry is going to stay on the side, but Mark Pittonet won't be available alongside Ollie Hollands, George Hewitt, Nick Newman, and Corey Durden. And some of those names came out of nowhere, Pom.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Corey.
I mean, no Pittonet worries you, doesn't it? Like, let's be honest. I mean, I did my preview, just went live before we went live. And like, you look at the Ruck centre bounce, it's tighter than a frog's bum between us and Melbourne. It really is. But then you've got to put into your brain the guy that makes a lot of them stats even is now sat at home with a broken hand. So big job for TDK, isn't it? I mean, let's talk a bit about TDK and chat. To be fair to him, last year he had some games where he really took the piss, didn't he? Where you probably gave him no hope, but he managed to do it. And for a man that's probably out of form, being dropped, this is a massive chance to really say, yeah, I'm back. It's me. I'm worth 600, 700k in it, because it doesn't get harder, does it? Let's be honest. Their second ruckman, Brodie Grundy, is the first choice ruckman of nearly 17 lists. So, like, how do you think that's going to go? Chat and Let Dog, how do you feel?
Not great. I don't feel great about it. You and I spoke about it a lot last year. We know the money didn't work out, but we would have done anything humanly possible to get Brodie Grundy into our team to be that number one ruck. I think Pito's going to show his worth when he doesn't play this week. I think people pan him online a fair bit for what he doesn't do, but I think we're going to really miss what he does do. And I'm not terribly confident that Tom De Koning is going to be the one that makes up for it. And the issue is, the reason I say that is Tom De Koning struggles against the bigger body mids, which is Max Gawn, which is going to do, you'd think, the bulk of the ruck work. And then it's kind of reversed what we had last year in round one against Richmond, where we had Pito do the bulk of the work and TD came in and jumped over the top. Well, they're doing that, but with Max Gawn and Brodie Grundy. So it's going to be really tough. And it means that when JSOS, which we presume is going to come in, or Lewis Young or whoever they bring in, but probably JSOS comes in, he's essentially just going to have to play as a midfielder. Like, it's almost not even worth going up and contesting the ruck for him. They need him at ground level. And it's been a big issue on our list for quite a while, Pom, that ruck depth that we just haven't had essentially since Cruiser left. And this is where the value of having a Andrew Phillips or a Tom Hickey or someone like that on your list comes in handy, but we don't have that, so it's up to TDK.
This is the big issue, isn't it? Because, like, most list profiles have your TDK type, your Pitternet type, and then they've got the break glass in case of emergency, 33-year-old on a low wage, just seeing out his time. And then they've got, like, maybe a project, do you know what I mean? Like a Murkoff. Carlton, literally, it's Murkoff, and it kind of says a lot where Murkoff is, that it's going to be either JSOS or Lewis Young being the auxiliary. And thank you very much for Big Stevie S. $31 on our ugly mugs. We love you. What stats need to improve? Tell you what, Steve, because you've paid $31, which is about a round in Australia, isn't it? Here we are. So I've brought this up. Here's your stats for the game, your key indicators. And I think if you go right down to the bottom four, I think this is where Carlton need to improve considerably. And you can see here, 15 goals, 2 on average, pays 10.7. Interesting little stat here, right? That Melbourne averaged 10.5 goal kickers a game. Carlton averaged 6.5. Big spread, but this is the big one. Goal accuracy, 55.7%. That's just the AFL norm versus 43.2%. You look at the inside 50 success rate as well. They've got 3 or 4 avenues to goal. And I did talk. If you do watch it, I do implore you. I don't want to give too much away because Pom needs the views.
You go watch the video, yeah.
But I would say, if you look at the two guys that I really get the horn for, last week I talked about Heaney and Papley, how they run from deep in the pocket up to high half forward, splitting lines, creating space in behind. Big job this week on Owies and whoever the next bloke is, because I think that's a forgotten part. People really pan Carlton for a lot of things, but I think the one that you really want to try and improve is getting this variant in goal scorers one, and that comes from them high half forwards and them pocket forwards. They have to make that space. They have to get involved a lot. And like I say, the AFL average for average goal scorers is 7.6. Melbourne lead the way with 10. Carlton have 6.5. But individual goal scorers, they only have 2 more than us. 2 more than us. And it's the spread they have.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in. I guess for me, obviously, kick more goals, get a higher score, win more game. It's not as simple as that. But my biggest issue, Pom, and it's highlighted there with your goal kicking accuracy and that inside 50 success percentage. I think that was what the stat was. you look at where we're taking our shots from, and they're all from like on the boundary, 50 meters out. There's none front and center, which is what we're really missing, and that's something we're going to see Melbourne are really good at. Bailey Fritsch, he's always good at sneaking out the back and just kicking one from directly in front, 25 meters out. And Kate Chandler's done that a bit for them this year. They've got a pretty potent forward mix. None of them, you'd say, are super stellar individual forwards that I can think of off the top of my head in terms of goal scoring. But as you said, they've got a great spread, and their shots come in a lot better positions than ours. So, I mean, it's a whole ground thing, isn't it? It's making sure that we slow them down. It's making sure that they're not getting easy ball in good positions. And on the reverse, making sure we get good positioning and get good inside 50s, which we just haven't done. We just haven't done since round 2, Pom. So it's, with the exception maybe of the West Coast game.
Mate,
by the way, shout out to everyone talking about square head Bailey Fritsch in the chat. Love that. He does have a very square head.
He looks like the dude from, what's it called? Beavis and Butthead. I always see
Jimmy
that.
Neutron, Beavis and Butthead. There's quite a few sort of. He does kick a lot of goals though.
Mate, he's fairly tasty. Is Bailey Fritsch? I mean, but that's it. Creating them avenues to goal. There is rumours floating through that Paddy Dow is definitely playing. So,
Ooh.
so
we like that. What's the bet it'll be as a sub just for memes?
Mate, I mean,
we all had him in our team, I think, on Tuesday, just for those playing at home.
We did, yeah. If they pick our team, we've got a chance. But I mean, I do think the big thing for me when I watch the boys and I watch Carlton is trying to create that other avenue to goal. Like Matt Anderson says, I showed them a lot of respect, Pickett and Fritsch, but it's what they do outside of the actual kicking goals. Their ability to spread. You only got to look at score involvements massively spread at Melbourne. Carlton have got the same blokes doing it all the time. It's either Charlie Curnow kicking the goals or Walsh and Chera and Cripper. Carlton need to get that spread, change the angles, and I think that really helps players like Mackay, because we focused on Mackay in my preview. Aside from the goal kicking, everything else is stellar, and he's still AFL average for kicking goals. There's still a lot of players there. But if you can get him closer, better avenues to goal, more chances created, better percentages from your inside 50s to score him, takes the pressure off. Because at the moment, you look at like last week against Sydney, in ideal world, yeah, he kicks them all, but there wasn't many chances created. Do you know what I mean? You're putting a lot of monopoly on two blokes. And I wanted to talk a little bit of, there was a stat going around the other day about Carlton targeting Harry and Charlie double the times of the rest of the team. There's a team out there who have the identical amount of goal kickers as Carlton, and it's called Geelong, right? They target their version, Cameron and Hawkins, identically to Carlton. But they're spread from goal kickers in their midfield. They average 3 more goal kickers a game than Carlton. And that's what we're talking about. It needs to be the spread. That tactic doesn't need to change. But these players are really...
where the rest of them come from.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? There isn't them easy bailout kicks. And
I feel like we've been talking about this since Mark Murphy was at the club. Like, goal kicking mids. I feel like we just have never had them. That third, who's our third best goal kicker? Goal kicking mids and ruck depth. I feel like for the last 10 years, Pom, we've just been having these same conversations. But we've got to have them because that's the situation we find ourselves in. Yeah, I think the big disappointment for me this year has been our midfielders not hitting the scoreboard. I know Walshy's kicked a couple, Cher's kicked a couple, but predominantly it's been Doc who's been really providing that for us, and even not to the level you need. You need guys like you need your wingers to be kicking goal every couple of games. You need your key inside 50 players to be hitting the scoreboard, because if the opposition knows you're not a threat to score as a player sending the ball inside 50, if you're not even going to look to do it, then they're not going to pay you respect, and they're just going to flood that flat out forward 50, which again makes it harder to mark, which is why the going to Charlie and Harry thing becomes so amplified, because it's the only thing we seem to do. Where I don't know if it's a tactical thing. I don't know if it's an inability to kick from distance for our midfielders. I don't know if it's just a fear factor thing, because and Matty Cottrell's willing to take a ping, and Doherty's willing to take a ping, but everyone else seems to just look to pass.
Mate, I agree, and I think Jordan nails it here for me, and also the legend that is Peter Bricks. Kennedy at half forward, Cripps getting involved. Cripps had 15 at this stage last year, right?
Yeah.
And was resting 20% forward. This year, he hasn't rested forward. It's less than 10%. And do you know what I mean? The goals he's kicked this year, it's what, 3? Which is bizarre, isn't it? I mean, what's Cripps on? Sorry, Cripps is on 1 goal. Wow. Do you know what I mean? A different avenue to goal. Yeah. Carlton have got to have that avenue to goal. And that's a big change for Carlton. Real big change. And that's something that I think is bred from lack of confidence. I would love to see him this week, where I don't think anyone, even Carlton's own fan base, isn't giving them a hope. This is the week that you go, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's just fuck caution to the wind and go hard for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree. If I was in charge this week, I'd be just basically putting them out on the park and going, show us that you want it. I know that probably isn't a realistic idea, but I'm with you. I just want to see them try something. I want to see them. I almost feel like we're you know how if you don't pay for the fastest internet possible, you get capped at 25 megabits per second or whatever it is by your internet provider. I feel like we've got a cap on all of our players. And it's we're not willing to pay the extra $50 a month to unlock them and let them just do what they're supposed to do. Every player seems to be playing, the exception maybe of Charlie Curnow, with restriction. And I don't know if that's coaching, confidence, or all of the above, but you're just not seeing the flair and dare that we saw from them all last year, which, again, probably wasn't a sustainable game plan those first 12 games or whatever it was, but it was effective. And we haven't done it this year, and we haven't won many games as a result.
Mate, spawn. And just before the teams are announced, they're starting to filter through. For those Rio, I can't take Twitter. I'm live, mate. I'm good, but I'm not rude. I can't be rude to the live chat. But obviously, Voss did a beautiful thing today. People have asked about it. Stand up, stand our ground. I liked the messaging from the club this week. Do you know what I mean? I have enjoyed Cripper firing up a little bit. I think it's about time someone at our club that turns me off. I've been wanting that for a while. I don't know why we let the media say what they want about us. Collingwood seem to fight back. We should do. I've actually kind of enjoyed it this week. I've got to say, there seems a little bit of fire. Do you know what I mean? I'm always here saying fire up. Actually feels like there's a little bit of fucking chutzpah from this team. Do you know what I mean? Start swinging for the fences. Start throwing a few punches. Because the way I see it, we're in a shitstorm at the moment. And the only way out is, you know what, when someone puts a brown paper bag over your head and puts you in the back of the van, the only way out of that is to punch the fuck out of that bag and stick one on the guy with the bag. And that's what I want to see from these boys. Stand up. Let's do it. Let's stand up.
I'm with you. I don't want to just see it. It has been different. The tone has been different this week, which I think is important. And maybe, they'll say that internally it's always been the same, but it's important for there to be a public perception of how they're feeling and that they're in it with the fans and that they're as upset as us. But then they also need to do it on the field. I'm not talking about going out and punching a bloke, but when was the last time we saw a big, a big tackle, game-changing tackle, or a big, Cripper standing over someone menacingly? It's been a while, and so I think it filters through to on the field, which obviously affects results. So I'd love to see some passion, some fire. Melbourne aren't a traditional rival. No one expects us to win. Come out and show them.
Mate, hey man, you know what I want to see? And I don't know what chat feel like, right? But I want to see, if you go back, and I think it was Eddie who was in the chat talking about he watched the 95 grand final this afternoon.
Teams are in Pom, by the way.
Okay, but I'll just finish this. The 95 grand final, right? And he was saying the skills weren't good, but the intensity was there. You go back and watch Carlton in the first 10 minutes against Sydney. Their skills were atrocious, right? However, that intensity, that fire, that desire almost made up for it. Almost made up for it. So, in my opinion, that's what the boys need to do. When you're not playing well, the intensity. But the teams, out goals. Corey Durden, injured. Ed Kerno, omitted. George Hewitt, injured. Mark Petternet, injured. Nick Newman, injured. Fuck, it's 2022 again. Ollie Hollands, injured. In comes Alec Cincotta, Jack Silvani, Lewis Young, Lockie O'Brien, Zach Fisher, which means I nailed my predicted team on the preview. But Cincotta, Wheater and Kemp is your back line. The half-back line, Lewis Young, Mitch McGovern and Adam Sard. Wingers, Walsh and Akers with Cripps the centreman. Half forward, Jesse Motlop, Charlie Kerner and Jack Silvani. Your full forward line, Zaki, Terry's boy, Fisher, H, Matty Owies, followers, TDK, Chera, Kennedy. Interchange bench being Boydie, Doc, O'Brien and Cottrell, with your sub to be one of Ed Kerner, Lockie Plowman. Please don't be Plowman. Paddy Dow or Lockie Fogarty. That
you
would
didn't need
suggest
to. You could have stopped that sentence after the first name, Pom. Your sub will be Ed Kerner.
You know what? Chat, who would you like to be the sub? I would love, I think Dow would be the perfect sub. Do you know what I mean? No pressure. Go out there. Just have a little bit of fun.
Yes. John O'Rourke had tweeted that Paddy Dow won't be in the team, but he's since deleted that. So he might just have come across who that sub might be. So watch that space.
Could be that, or Jono, being a mate of mine, could know that I will proper bag the crap out of him if he's posted something and got it wrong. I mean, what do we think? Just on the other news as well, the legends that are Melbourne, they have no Tom McDonald, injured, no Michael Hibberd, injured. James Jordan has been sub-omitted. And James Harms is out, but he is on the extended bench. They've brought in Adam Tomlinson to play down in the key position for Michael Hibberd. So that's an interesting one because Hibberd's defensive and offensive numbers, when I was going through the preview today, they're fucking outrageous. Joel Smith, Lockie Hunter returns. So few big outs for them as well. I wouldn't say, I don't like playing this game, whose outs are worse, but I would say Carlton's outs, are horrific.
Ours are worse.
Them, right? But
Tom McDonald, like they only play him when they are absolutely desperate these days. Like, yeah, our outs are worse. Not that I think it matters, but our outs are worse, and we don't have enough players to. Well, I might be proven wrong, but generally we don't have enough players to cover the holes, particularly when our number one ruck's gone out of the side. Yes. I don't know what to make of this, Pom. I think I'm not surprised by any of the teams. We kind of predicted who would come in. Lewis Young comes in. Interesting. What do you think they're going to do with all of the talls in defence? They've got Wiedering, Kemp, Young, and McGovern in this side. Do you think, is there going to be any funny buggers, or are they all going to legitimately play in defence?
I think JSOS playing in the Ruck, the only way that can work is that he's going to negate the ground ball gets from Brody Kemp and Brody Grundy, and he's just going to have to play as an extra midfielder. Just stand there and try and wrestle the ball out. The ball out, which is going to be a tough thing. I do think that Lewis Young, they've got to play Lewis Young in the Ruck. They have to. The size matters. Unfortunately, size matters.
Wait, That's not what I've been told before.
Yeah, well, your missus is a liar. God bless her. Shout out to the beautiful Mrs. Lapdog as well. I'm sorry for that crass joke. But no, they've got to do it. You know what? Call me stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Call me stupid. You know, Uncle Pom likes to get behind these boys. I'm fucking backing him in. Fuck it. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you know what? Last week, people say season is over. I don't buy into it because everyone's getting beat by everyone at the moment. If we lose this, yeah, it's probably a bridge too far, right? But fucking come on, boys. Come on. Like, last 2 times you played it, it's been within a kick. Why not?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why not? Friday night lights, the press bagging you, people making fucking shit up in the press. Right? Tell you what, if this isn't the time that these fuckers bash their heads together and go, we're Carlton, we can fucking do this, let's fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? Why not? What better way to send piss-faced Caroline Wilson looking like she's licked piss off a nettle, more miserable than fucking beating these pricks? Beating these pricks. We can fucking do it.
Why not us? Why not us?
Let's do it.
Just fucking do it. Just kick more goals than them. I don't know if I'm pretty emotional at the moment, Pom. This week it's been a big week for me, so I don't know if I can build it up again and get hurt. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm all in. I'm going to tip us. I'm tipping us on footy tips. I'm tipping us here. There's something about like. There is no world in which we should win this, and I think that's why we will win this. I think there's only so often the odds can go against us. This is the week we bounce back. Fuck it. I think there's going to be some late out nonsense for us. I think we might see a Paddy Dow or a Lockie Fogarty come into the side. I think we might see one of our tools disappear from defence. And you know what? I'm with you. Let's back him, because what else are we going to do? We're going to sit there depressed, moping and angry. We've just got to back him and, you know, hope we win.
What else can we do short of putting on a blue shirt and going out and play? Which, you know what? If Voss wants it, I might not be any good, but I'll fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? I'll do it. And if I die on the field, at least I'll die doing something I love. But honestly, exactly. I'm telling you, why can't they fucking do it? Do you know what I mean? Like, how many more times? How much love can we give? Like, the narrative every week, there's something new motivation. Like, and maybe I'm stupid because, you know what? I get upset, but I come back next week. I don't actually get... It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't ruin my life. Do you know what I mean? I come back. I come back because I love the thrill. But fuck me. This is it, man. Like, tell you what. This week they've had, this 12-week block has been fucking horrible for them. I'd imagine if I was in that dressing room, it would be like watching... It'd be like listening to... Who's that woman? That thing he listens to.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Pom.
Oh, who's that woman? Nothing compares.
Nothing. I don't know her name, but yes.
Oh, Sinead O'Connor. Like, I'd imagine that dressing room is like listening to Sinead O'Connor on fucking repeat. Right? Like, how more miserable do you have to get?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm with you. Like, our only options, as you said, because they're not going to pick us to play. Bossie's not going to come and knock on the door and pick us. All we can do is get excited. All we can do is cheer our hearts out, lose our voices, jump on fan cams after, and I mean, what else can we do? Like, literally, the alternative is just sitting in your room being fucking depressed, and we ain't doing that. So they feed. We said this last week. They feed off us, and it'll be Melbourne based. There'll be, and I know it's a Melbourne home game, but there'll be Carlton fans in the crowd. They feed off us. If you're going to the game, it's on you to do your bit. Give them energy to feed off, because it makes a difference. You speak to the players, it makes a difference.
Mate, and I've just checked as well, right? We play, if I'm correct, we play 7:50 Friday, yeah?
Yes.
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Evidently, there's decent snowfall tomorrow at Mount Buller.
So the Melbourne fans won't be there.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be fucking downhill skiing, baby. Well, Terry's boy, fucking Fisher, he's downhill fucking down the wing, fucking racking up 40 for Bants. You know what I mean? Racking up 40 for Bants. So you know what? I agree with Vossi. We are at war. We are at war with fucking Melbourne Demons. So my beautiful blue brethren and sisters, fucking cheer. I don't care if you're at the game or not. Open a beer with vigor. Do you know what I mean? Scream with vigor. Go outside and tell your Melbourne mate he's a fucking knobhead. Because let's fucking do it, boys. Bring me 4 points home. Bring me 4 points. You know what I mean? And let's fucking kill him. One more time.
I'm with you. I did the podcast, my podcast this week. My co-host this week's a Melbourne supporter. He's not getting invited back. I love him, Clarky, but he can get fucked because we're at war. All right. You've got a lot of questions here, but I think we just gotta leave it in the wind and we just gotta let everyone just be pumped.
Chat. Much love to you all. Look after yourself. Stay safe. Have a wonderful evening. Do you know what I mean? For tomorrow, we go to battle. Big shout out to Let Dog, sending Let Dog and his family all the love in the world as well from us as a community. Get around Let Dog. He's a great guy. And we will be back next week, hopefully smiling because we've got 4 points.
Go Blues.
Go Blues.